Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's another great day to discuss other people's excellence. I'm the unforgettable one himself, Mr. Brett Carroll, and I love BSing at work. So I hope everybody had a great holiday weekend. Even if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving per se, I hope you all were able to spend time with your family and loved ones, eat some good food, and just be thankful for all the blessings in your life. And we here at the Dope Blog are so thankful for you guys. We're blessed to have you. You guys make this fun. And so I decided, you know what? Let me show you guys how thankful I am for you by giving you more of what you want. So the theme of today is two. It is Tuesday. So we're having a two-part mock draft, which means 2 rounds with trades. Okay. So y'all have been loving these mock drafts. I love doing them. So we're gonna do a 2 round mock draft with trades. And because it's 2 rounds with trades, I'm gonna break it up into 2 parts. Part one will be on Wednesday, so it's Tuesday as I'm recording this. But you'll see part one on Wednesday morning. You'll see part two on Thursday morning. And here we're gonna have fun. I was gonna do this on Thanksgiving, as like a Thanksgiving fun thing to do. However, um, it didn't make sense because there was 3 games on Thanksgiving. So by the time most of you guys would have seen this, uh, games have already screwed up the draft order. So I was gonna do it on Monday, but the Steelers played Monday night, and that was important because had they lost, because of a lot of the three win teams won on over the weekend, had the Steelers lost, they would have been in the top 5. Because they won, they're not even in the top 10 anymore. They're 12 right now. So that's a huge swing in terms of where they would be drafting, who they can get, and stuff like that. So I was like, you know what? Let me just wait till after the Monday night game is over. They did win. They're at 12. And so now let's just go ahead and do it. That way, even if you're watching part two on Thursday, there's only one game. It won't be till late Thursday night. So it's not going to screw this up much, if at all. And I don't even remember who's playing on Thursday. If it's two good teams, it's not going to mess up the top 10 at all. Or really the draft order in any significant way. So let's do this. All right. Part one today, part two tomorrow. All right, let's get started. Texans. I wanted, I wanted to go Will Anderson here. I know some Texans fans have contacted me and they still believe in Davis Mills. They still think that, why don't we develop the offense around him and see what he can really do? And honestly, I would be okay with that, but there's two problems with that. One, he just got benched, right? So, like, I think the organization has kind of already settled in on the fact that he's not their guy going forward. And two, the problem is if you don't take Davis Mills, I mean, if you don't take a quarterback at one, there's no other, as of right now, there's no other offensive player that's worth the number one pick in the draft. There's not a receiver worth this pick. There's not an offensive lineman that's worth this pick. Bijan Robinson, you're not going to take him at number one. Matter of fact, running backs are probably the one position you don't need because you already have some good running backs. So if you take Will Anderson, that's not helping Davis Mills. That's helping your football team, right? But that's not really helping Davis Mills. And obviously you can trade back. But honestly, the problem with this draft class is I don't see guys really that eager to trade up to get one of these quarterbacks. I just don't. Bryce Young is really good, but I think a lot of people are going to be afraid of his size or lack thereof. Um, so I don't know if he's the type of guy that somebody would trade up to. Again, and remember, to get to the number one pick in the draft, you're going to have to give up a whole lot. So that's, what I mean? That's a big deal. So I don't think that's going to happen. Um, you can make the case that somebody might trade up for one of these defensive players. But again, to get to the number one pick in the draft, it's still going to cost a lot. I don't know if people really are going to want to do that. So unfortunately, Bryce Young is going to be the pick here for you guys. For the people that want to see Davis Mills get another chance. It just doesn't make sense right now. The team's not playing well. He's not playing well. And like I said, it's not like there's another offensive player to take here that would help Davis Mills, in his development. Okay, Chicago. Chicago's kind of screwed right now. They need offensive line help. They need wide receiver help. They don't need a quarterback. Um, but again, there's nobody at 2 that's worth that pick as of right now. Again, we're doing this in real time. Maybe by the time the draft comes along, if they're still at 2, there might be an offensive lineman that's worth this pick. As of right now, that's not the case. Um, so they're kind of screwed. Again, especially the way CJ Stroud has played, I don't think a team is going to trade up to get him. I just don't. If you're the Panthers, I don't see it. You just got picks back. You don't want to use those picks to trade up to get your guy. Especially since, again, last couple weeks he hasn't looked great. And so his draft stock is coming down just a smidget. And not to mention, if you're the Panthers, I don't think the Lions are going to take a quarterback at 3. So if you're the Panthers, you can sit there at 5 and CJ Stroud might fall to you. Again, I don't think this is the type of draft class where teams are going to just trade up to get a guy. I think the NFL has learned its lesson. You don't just trade up to get a guy just because you need a guy, right? We saw that with Carson Wentz. We saw that with Jared Goff. We saw that in other Trey Lance. Like, just because you need a quarterback, it's got to be that guy. It's got to be a guy that you are 100% sure on is going to be a franchise quarterback. And I don't think CJ Stroud is that guy. However, this is what I'm going to do. I am going to help the Bears out here. I am going to help them get a trade off because I really, really like this trade. And I really, really think it's possible to pull off. So I'm going to have the Eagles trade up. And what I'm going to do now, the way this is going to work, I'm going to have to get rid of like all of these because this algorithm is very, very, very strict in terms of what they want you to trade to get. In terms of what they want you to put. They put a premium price on top 3 picks, and I think the way I read the instructions, it also assumes that anybody trading up is getting a quarterback. So because they have CJ Stroud as their number 1 player on the board, CJ Stroud, any team that's going up to 2. They're going to deem as somebody that's going to get a quarterback, but that's not the case yet. So I'm just letting you guys know, here's the trade. Excuse me. Here's the trade, 6, 31, and 95 to move up to 2. I think that's fair enough. If you're the Bears, you take that. Because if you're the Eagles, you don't need to do it, right? It's one of those things like, hey, we want to do this. We want to get Jalen Carter. We want to put him next to Jordan Davis. We want to have the best defensive line in football. But we don't need to do that. We just want to do it. So if they call the Bears and say, listen, we'll give you both our first round picks and a third, I think the Bears will take that because they need to trade down way more than the Eagles need to trade up. I'm going to try this. Let's see if it works. But if not, I'm going to go back in and I'm going to go back in. Oh, perfect. They accepted it. Perfect. So that's the trade. Here we go. So now Eagles move up to 2 to get Jalen Carter. Oh, I paused the draft. Oops, sorry. What's happening? There we go. Come on. There we go. To get Jalen Carter. That's the pick. That's exactly who they want. That's exactly who they need. This is going to be a great, 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 great trade for both teams. Because if you're the Eagles, you don't need much. And you can get the little pieces that you do need. You can get those in the later in the draft. I think this is a position of strength for the Eagles to be able to do this. The Lions. Okay, the Lions want Will Anderson would be a guy here, but the problem is with Will Anderson, I don't know if he's a fit in terms of what they do defensively. They want a guy like Miles Murphy, but again, they would have to trade back. a little bit, and I don't know where they're trading back. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to have them take Miles Murphy here. I'm not going to force a trade because I don't. Again, who's trading up to 3 and for what? If you're the Panthers and you know the Lions are trying to trade back, you know it's obviously they don't want a quarterback. Um, and again, nobody. I don't think anybody's going to trade up to 3 and pay that price to get C.J. Stroud. I'm just going to have them take Miles Murphy over Will Anderson. I like Miles Murphy. I think he's really good. Yes, Will Anderson is better, but again, I think scheme wise, Miles Murphy fits better with them. Um, and then if you're the Seahawks, you're sitting pretty because you get to have Will Anderson. He's sat right in your lap. You are thanking the Denver Broncos, and Will Anderson is your pass rusher of the future. And now, if you're the Panthers, look at this. Fell right into your lap, CJ Stroud. To be honest with you, I think even if the Panthers had both Bryce Young and CJ Stroud on the board, I would have invited them to take Stroud, not because I think he's better than Bryce Young, but to me, they have a bunch of small quarterbacks already. They have PJ Walker, they have Matt Corral, who they just drafted last year. I don't know if it makes sense to take a third smaller quarterback. I mean, Bryce Young is listed at 6 foot. A lot of people speculate that he's not even 6 foot. We won't know until like the combine and stuff. But get the guy with more prototypical size and strength. It just makes more sense. You got to have one of those guys on your roster. Obviously, Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield won't be there, and Baker Mayfield is a smaller quarterback. But obviously, those two guys won't be there. Get somebody with the ideal size and strength that you want. Now, again, y'all know me. I'm very hesitant to take Ohio State quarterbacks, and CJ Stroud looks like he's having that Ohio State quarterback effect where he's dominant in college, and because he has all Americans all around him, his job is easy. So how will that translate to the NFL? But if you're the Panthers, if he's there at 5, you take him. You know what I mean? Like, let's not overthink this. Okay, now the Bears here at 6. To me, this is still too high to take a wide receiver. To me, that's just me. I don't. I think if as much as they desperately need a receiver, I like Quentin Johnson. Right now, I'm just not comfortable with him. Me personally, I don't think there's a top 10 receiver in this draft. Now, if you're sitting there at 9-ish, fine. But right now, I just don't see the top 10 receiver. Quentin Johnson is really good. He's really good. I just don't know if I'll take him at 6. That's a little rich for my taste. So, but the problem is if you don't get a receiver now, at 31, there might be one. But I guess my point is you can probably get an offensive lineman in the second round that you like. I don't know if you're going to get the receiver you really want in the second round. So therefore, I think they are going to just take Quentin Johnson. They traded down once already. Again, there's nobody here that, the top 3 defensive guys are all off the board, 1, 2, 3. There's nobody here that I think anybody's going to trade up with them again to get. So I think you guys should just go Quentin Johnson here and hope that a offensive lineman falls to you. Okay, 7. I think this is Keely Ringo all the way. I think he just looks. I mean, maybe it's the black and red, but to me, he just looks like a Cardinal. They need cornerback help desperately, and so that's what they're going to do. Green Bay, you would think they would take there's some weapons here, but they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it, especially because Christian Watson's playing well right now. They're patting themselves on the back. They're doing their victory lap right now. They're like, see, we know what we're doing. You guys don't. And to be honest with you, this time I don't blame them. Again, even if Quentin Johnson was on the board, I just don't like any of these receivers as top 10 right now. Again, my opinions can change over time, but as of right now, I don't like any of them top 10, let alone if the one guy I was going to take top 10 is gone and Quentin Johnson, then yeah, I don't, you're not going to do it. So I think they're going to take an offensive lineman. They need a tackle really bad. Um, Paris Johnson is here. Let me just see who else is here. So Peter Skoronski's here. Broderick Jones. I think they might go Peter Skoronski. I think that's more their style. And he's more versatile. He could be a tackle. He could be a guard. So I'm gonna go Peter Skoronski for them. The Raiders. The Raiders won and kind of screwed themselves out of the guys that they really wanted. They would have loved to have Jalen Carter, Miles Murphy, or Will Anderson Jr. They actually won. And so now they're out of that race. So I think the next best possible thing for them to do is also go offensive line. And I think that would be Paris Johnson Jr. All right. And then the Texans at 10. Let's just go back to overall. They got their quarterback. Quentin Johnson would have been great here at 10. This is where I would have wanted to put Quentin Johnson. Again, like I said, right at the edge of that 10 range is fine. But he's gone. And so what do? I think they should, I think Lovie Smith will, if he's still there, will want to go defense. I do believe you got to get somebody to help your quarterback. I don't agree that Michael Mayer is a top 10 prospect. I don't agree that Jordan Addison's the 11th best prospect. I don't agree that Anthony Richardson should be up here either. Maybe corners. Well, no, they have corners already. Ugh. The top two tackles are off the board already. Oof. Yeah, I kind of don't like any of these for them, to be very honest with you. And I wonder if they could trade back. Who would want to trade back, though? That's the question. The Lions, I doubt will do it. Ugh. Yeah, this is a tough position for them to be in. I'm going to go. What do they need? They need. Maybe we could go edge. Maybe who's still here at edge? Tyree Wilson. This. Ugh. Yeah, Texas player. Well, Texas Tech, but Texas State type of player. Yeah, let's do that. That to me makes more sense than anything else. Um, the Jaguars. Again, they could have went wide receiver, but again, I just don't like wide receiver there. To me, there's a huge drop off between Quentin Johnson and everybody else. They could go corner. I like corner. We can definitely do corner. I think Christian Gonzalez makes a lot of sense for them. So I'm gonna do that. Christian Gonzalez for corner. So now the Steelers here at 12. To me, this is perfect. This is exactly where they want to be. A lot of people have us taking offensive lineman. Again, I think there's an offensive lineman that you can get in the second round, especially with 2 second-round picks. I'm sorry, we got to address our defense, man. Like our offensive line isn't as bad as people make it out to be. Yes, I get it. We need to upgrade over Dan Moore, but the Steelers for too long have gone cheap with their cornerbacks. They've tried to just pay, veterans, minimum salaries and help that works out. They made the William Jackson the third trade again was a no risk, low mid reward because he's okay. He's not he's not a shutdown corner. If he was a shutdown corner, you wouldn't have got him for nothing. So he'll be on the team next year. But I think they gotta just start drafting and developing guys. I really do. And so Joey Porter, his dad played for the team. They're all about family. I don't know who's more about family, the Steelers or Vin Diesel. So we're gonna go Joey Porter here. We're gonna go Joey Porter here. That makes the most sense. Um, and then if you are the Lions, I know they want to go corner again, but the top three corners are off the board. Now, granted, this is a very, 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 very good corner class. All of these guys, there's one, two, three, four guys that I would have no problem taking at 13 at all. However, because the cornerback class is so deep, I kind of want them to take Trent Simpson. I think that's a really good look for them. They could get a corner in round two. I think that's a really good first round of getting two Clemson players, Miles Murphy, Trent Simpson on that defense, and then a corner probably will fall to you at in the second round. Okay, the Colts. They're not going to take Will Levis. Will Levis is getting Carson Wentz comparisons, so that's to tell you everything you need to know. The Colts are not going to take a quarterback. The Colts need some offensive line help. Their offensive line has not been good this year. I kind of like Broderick Jones for them, and so that's what I'm going to do. The Falcons, I kind of need a refresh on what they need. They're not going to take a quarterback. They're not going to take a receiver. They could go edge. They could go edge. And so let's see the edge class right now. There's a lot of good. Again, this edge class is amazing. I kind of like Jared Verse for them. So I'm going to give them Jared Verse. Seattle has Will Anderson. I kind of like Seattle to go edge twice and have their bookend players. I kind of like that a lot. I kind of like that a lot. Let's see what else they could do. Safety, they could go, but see, they like to take defensive backs later on in the draft. So I don't see them taking a safety or a corner in the first round. They've done a great job of getting them later in the draft and developing them. And there's no guard here that you would want at 16. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go double edge. I think I'm gonna do that. I like that. Oh, hold on. Let me see if there's anybody that they could trade down with. Let's see. Who's here? Who is still here that they would want to trade down with? Right now, nobody specifically. Yeah, I'm gonna just go double edge. Right now, there's nobody that makes sense to trade up with them for. Now, question is who? Um, I like let's do Felix. I'm not gonna try to pronounce his name, but let's do that. The Chargers. I think this is where our second receiver comes off the board. They could go Bijan. They could go Bijan, but I think they're gonna go offense. I think they're gonna go wide receiver. I think Jordan Addison makes sense. They need a burner. They need somebody who can, get downfield. That's what he can do. Uh, the Now here's where it gets interesting. What would I can see them taking Jackson Smith and Jibba. They like those fast, shifty slot type players. That's what he is. I don't think he's that good, but they definitely need wide receiver help. Yeah, I'm gonna go Jackson Smith and Jigba. Now, if you are the Buccaneers, do you take a quarterback here? Do you take a quarterback here? Do you? I think Tom Brady, if he doesn't retire, I don't think he's coming back. And so, where do you go from here? Assuming Byron Leftwich doesn't get a head coaching job, do you want him to develop either Anthony Richardson or Will Levis? Both of them have very high upside, but both of them are extremely raw in their. I mean, Will Levis is less raw than Anthony Richardson is. So maybe that would be the pick. You take a guy like Will Levis and let him develop. Um, kind of like that. I kind of like that. Hmm. I also like this. I've also wanted to do this for a minute. So let's make this trade happen. We can call this an overreaction mock draft as well. Oops. I really like the idea of the Jets moving up to take a quarterback because they're obviously done with old boy Zach Wilson. They're only trading up a couple spots. So you give up a third round pick to move up to 19. Well, the Jets trading with the Buccaneers. So they're gonna have to give up more than this to move up 3 spots? No way. Okay, whatever. All right. And I have them taking Will Levis. I just they need a quarterback bad. It doesn't make sense to waste another year with the Jack Wilson experiment. This is a win now team. You're cheating. Not only you win now, the NFL more than any other league has a very tight window, and when it's open, you want to take advantage of it. All their best players are uh in their rookie deals still. So you want to take advantage of that. Hold on 1 second. Um, so yeah, you want to take advantage of that. Take Will Levis. I understand the quarterback class next year is better than the quarterback class this year. But again, I think the Jets are going to be in the same position next year where they're going to be way too good to be a top 10 or a bottom 10 team, or especially bottom five. I think next year you're going to see 3 guys going in the top five. Um, so they're going to be way too good to do that, but they're not going to be good enough to win a championship. Go get Will Levis. I understand that some people think that they're just going to take a Jimmy Garoppolo stuff like that. Jimmy Garoppolo is good, but I don't think you win a Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo. I just don't. Not in the AFC. There's too many good quarterbacks in the AFC. You need a guy. You need a guy. And Will Levis is Carson Wentz with the leadership qualities that Carson Wentz doesn't have. Now, he's still erratic like Carson Wentz. He's still going to have games that make you pull your hair out in terms of decision making and stuff like that. But he also has the upside that Carson Wentz had. And I know Charles, if Charles was here, he would throw up. He never saw the potential in Carson Wentz. But I think that's because he's just a Carson Wentz hater because he was an Eagle. Um, but yeah, so I like Carson Wentz for. I mean Carson Wentz. I like Will Levis for the Jets. I think he would be a good quarterback to come in, and hopefully they could develop him better than Zach Wilson. And plus, you're moving ahead of Washington because I think Washington would have taken Will Levis right here if Tampa Bay didn't take him, um, which is why I made the trade. So now at 20, if you are the Commanders, I just don't see Anthony Richardson being a guy that they specifically would want because I don't know how well they believe they can develop him. He has all the talent in the world. He's just very very raw still, and you're going to need to develop him. He's got to go somewhere where somebody is feels very comfortable in their ability to develop him, his mechanics and his decision making and everything else. Um, so with that being said, we could go corner here. There's still some really good corners on the board. I like Clark Phillips. Um, Eli Ricks probably fits their style. Well, what are they? They do they run zone? What do they run, man? They run more zone. Yeah, let's go Clark Phillips. Baltimore. Okay. Baltimore. I think this is where Kayshon Boutte goes. I think they desperately need uh I think they desperately need some wide receiver help. Bijan Robinson makes sense here too, but they know how to run the football. They need to develop the passing game, especially if they're going to sign Lamar Jackson to a very lucrative deal. I think that makes more sense to just continue to develop him as a passer. Kayshon Boutte will do that for you. Okay. Now, if you are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you really have two choices. Do you take Anthony Richardson or do you go a different route? What else could they use besides quarterback? They could go corner. They could go edge. I actually do like I'm actually a big fan of Osiris Torres here. Let's do that. The Bengals also, I think this because of where they are, this is Michael Mayer all day. Offensive line isn't like rare, like the guys that you want offensive line are probably gone. So why not get another weapon? The Giants. A lot of people think the Giants should take Anthony Richardson because they believe Brian Dayball is the guy that could, you know, develop him properly. I don't. I think Daniel Jones has played well enough to get at least another 1 year prove it deal type of thing. Um, so and like I said, the quarterback class next year is better than the one this year anyway. So why not do that and figure out something else? Here's the thing: they need a wide receiver, and I would have loved to give them Kayshon Boutte, but he's gone. And so I don't know where I want to go with that. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make another trade. This time with Dayball's old team trading with his new team because I want let's see if this goes through. Come on. Because I think only because I think Buffalo needs to do this. I think Buffalo needs. If you've watched my if you've watched my trade deadline thing, you know I had Buffalo as a loser. I think they desperately need to get a running back, a dominant running back. And yes, you can make the argument that there's a lot of great, this is a fantastic, I mean, fantastic running back class. I get that. But Bijan Robinson's special. He's the best one we've seen since Saquon, right? So if you're Buffalo, that's what you want. They need to be able to run the ball. They need to be multidimensional in their offense. I think that's been their problem. They're too reliant on Josh Allen being great every single week. When you need to be able to run the ball, you need to be able to do it, and you need to be able to do it without Josh Allen putting his body in harm's way every time you need to do it. So that's where I'm at with that. Okay, the Broncos. Man, well, I don't even know where to begin with y'all, man. It's been a bad ride. I know y'all tired of that joke, but it's been a bad ride. I think honestly, what I want to do for them is Brian Barisi's still here, and I don't think he should be falling that far. So I'm gonna put him here. Tennessee. Tennessee could also use a receiver again. Just I just don't see where the value is. Now, tackle makes sense. Receiver, Josh Downs, I guess makes sense here. I guess makes sense. He's more of a slot guy to me. Let me see what. Yeah, he's 5'10", 180. He's more of a slot guy to me. They need a burner on the outside. But then again, maybe that's something that they can use. Play action, him running behind those linebackers in the play action game. Somebody that they believe can catch and just keep going, some yak yardage. Okay, I like that. You know he looks good in powder blue. Let's do that. If you are the Cowboys, you are screwed because there is no way you're taking a receiver here. They need a receiver, but there's no way that you can take one here. Um, so I guess you probably address the offensive line. I'm guessing. Like they could go Jameer Gibbs and Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones is not shy of taking a running back in round one. Yeah, I kind of like that for them. I kind of like that for him. Um, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. Okay, if you're the Giants, you've already traded back. Uh, let's go see what your needs are again. Well, there we go. You've already traded back. Linebacking core is not good here. Corners are good here. There's still some really good corners on the board. Oh, there's a good Noah Sewell's still here too. Wait a minute. They need a linebacker, right? I forgot that Noah Sewell was on. Yeah, I think you gotta go Noah Sewell here, right? Let's just see. Yeah, I think you gotta go Noah Sewell here. Boom. Vikings. Okay, they also need a receiver, but the receivers are gone. The receivers are gone. I mean, it's slim pickings for receivers. There's only a couple of them. They're gone already. Uh, tight end's gone. You're not gonna do that. Uh, it could go Henry Toto. I like Henry Toto as well. Let me just see. before I pull the trigger on that. Let me see who else is here. They could go corner. They could go edge. Antonio Johnson's still here. I like that for them a lot. Um, I think I must have them go corner. Cam Smith. Okay. Did they even need a corner? Did I just do something stupid? No, it didn't need a corner. Okay, cool. Um, Kansas City, again, you're playing from a position of strength. You don't need much. Some edge help would be great. Oh, but Gervin Dexter is still here. Oh, wait a minute. I like Gervin Dexter is definitely still here. I love that for them, actually. Yeah, I'm gonna. Oh, that's gonna suck for my Steelers. That somebody would have won it for the Steelers in the second round, but that's okay. All right, and so again, here at 31, if you are what the frick? Why do they not have where's Olu Fashanu on here? Why do they not have Olu Fashanu on here? Do they have him as a guard? Oh no. Why is Olu Fashanu not here? Okay, well, I would have loved for them to take Olu Fashanu, which is weird they don't have him. So I'm gonna take Blake Freeland, but just take a mental note that that's Olu Fashanu. Okay. So look, if you're so great trade for the Bears, you trade back, you get the wide receiver you need, you get the offensive tackle you need. You might have reached a little bit for the wide receiver, but the tackle to me, Olu Fashanu, is a steal here at 31. I'm gonna take because BYU kind of has the same color scheme, so that's why I'm gonna take Blake Freeland. And it's a 2 round mock to have him as a 3rd round type of tackle. So he's probably somebody I'm not taking the 2nd round anyway. So I'm gonna just use him as a placeholder for Olu Fashanu. That's really weird that they don't have that. But anyway, here's our 1st round. Let's just go through it quickly. Bryce Young, Eagles trade up to get Jalen Carter. Lions get Miles Murphy. Seattle, Will Anderson. CJ Stroud, the Bears moved back and got Quentin Johnson, Keely Ringo for the Cardinals. Peter Skoronski goes to the Packers. Paris Johnson goes to the Raiders. Tyree Wilson going to the Texans. Christian. Then we had a run of corners. Christian Gonzalez to the Jags. Joey Porter Jr. going to the Steelers. Trent Simpson, fabulous linebacker, going to the Lions. Broderick Jones going to the Colts. Jared Verse going to Seattle. Felix, I don't even want to say that name, going to Seattle, going double edge. I really, really like that. That's probably my favorite thing of this 1st round. Jordan Addison going to the Chargers, Jackson Smith and Jigba going to the Patriots, Will Levis, the Jets trading up to get Will Levis. I know a lot of you are going to be very upset with that in the comments, but that's okay. I just see the vision. Clark Phillips going to Washington, Keyshawn Butte going to the Ravens, Osiris Torres going to the Buccaneers, Michael Mayer going to the Cincinnati, Bijan Robinson. I love this as well. I think this is the one thing that needs to happen, in my opinion. It's the one thing that I think I really do believe the Bills should trade up, make sure they get Bijan Robinson. Again, you don't have to go crazy, but again, you are picking from a position. Them and the Eagles, to me, are picking in positions of strength. They don't have that many needs. So if they really want Bijan Robinson, they could trade up as far as they want to and give up as many picks as they want to get him. You're not going to do that for a running back. That's why I let him slide this far. But still, I think that's something they need to do. Brian Barisi, Josh Downs, Jameer Gibbs to the Cowboys, Noah Sewell to the Giants, Cam Smith to the Vikings, Gervin Dexter to the Chiefs, and Olu Fashanu, not Blake Freeland, but Olu Fashanu going to the Bears. All right. So thank you guys so much. I'm the Unforgettable One. You can find me at Never Forget Me. That's NEVA underscore the number 4 BRETT underscore ME on Instagram and Twitter. Join me tomorrow as we do well, if you're seeing this, it'll be tomorrow, but Thursday for part 2, where we do round 2, where I have more trades and more good stuff. All right. Peace.